Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
Multiple sheriffs caught getting rich by depriving inmates of food, stealing from food funds. Sheriffs across Alabama are stealing money from funds allocated to feed inmates and using it to enrich themselves. As a side effect, inmates are being fed cheap, unhealthy food. By Matt Agarist, February 19, 2018. Alabama sheriffs in Alabama have found an unscrupulous means of stealing money from the taxpayers of their state by embezzling money from funds that are collected for the purpose of feeding inmates. It is not an isolated incident either. In only 3 years, one Alabama sheriff stole over $110,000 in taxpayer dollars that was slated to feed inmates in the jail his department oversees. During the same period, another sheriff was caught writing checks for personal expenses from a similar taxpayer-funded program intended to feed inmates. Others were caught using the money to loan shark. None of the sheriffs has been charged, and they all claim their outright theft of tax dollars is entirely legal. These sheriffs and many more across the state of Alabama are now the subject of a lawsuit jointly filed January 5 by the Southern Center for Human Rights and the Alabama Appleseed Center for Law and Justice. As AL.com reports, the sheriffs contend that they are not breaking the law by taking thousands of federal, state and municipal tax dollars that they receive each year as allocations to feed inmates in their jails. The two sheriffs, and likely others across the state, say they are following the letter of a long-standing Alabama state law that they believe allows for them to keep any funds designated to feed county jail inmates that do not end up being used for that purpose. Not only are these sheriffs taking tax dollars that are slated to feed people in their jails, but they are doing so at the expense of the inmates' health. According to the lawsuit, as reported by AL.com, the two centers sued 49 Alabama county sheriffs over their refusal for a period of several months to produce public records showing whether, and if so by how much, they have personally profited from funds allocated for feeding people in their jails, according to a statement they released last month. The lawsuit contends that the sheriffs know what they are doing is illegal. It also points out the perverse incentives created by such a greedy interpretation. To fill their pockets at the end of the year, sheriffs now have an incentive to feed inmates minimal and low-quality food. Our position is that this practice is illegal now, but it's clear that many sheriffs believe it's legal for them to do this, Aaron Littman, a staff attorney at the Southern Center for Human Rights, told AL.com. Clearly this is a practice which is problematic because it creates an incentive for sheriffs to spend as little as possible on feeding folks, and obviously when a minimal amount of money is approved for something and less than that is spent, the quality suffers. Monroe County Sheriff Thomas Tate provided the centers with a copy of a handwritten ledger from his office which detailed the taxpayer money he collected to feed inmates in his custody. The documents show that the Monroe County Sheriff's Office received a total of $423,364.60 over that 3-year period to pay for a total of 83,878 days worth of meals for inmates, a measure referred to as inmate days, in the county's jails. Of that money, $110,459.77 was declared excess and paid to Sheriff Thomas Tate, according to the ledgers. The amount of excess funds Tate received rose each year, despite the fact that the number of inmate days fell each year and the per diem amounts paid to his office, $1.80 per state inmate per day, $5 per municipal inmate per day, and $10 per federal inmate per day did not change between 2014 and 2016. In 2014, he pocketed less than $29,000, in 2016, he personally received more than $44,000. As of the 2010 U.S. Census, Monroe County was home to just 23,068 residents. I do it just like the law tells us to. That's about all I have to say about that, Tate said during a brief phone interview with AL.com Friday. We feed all our inmates good and the excess goes to the sheriff. If you declare it excess, you take it and you pay taxes on it. Etowah County Sheriff Todd Entrikin was so brazen about his theft of tax dollars that he was writing checks directly from the fund. This prompted one of the people receiving the checks to speak out. "I saw that in the corner of the checks it said food provision, and a couple people I knew came through the jail, and they say they got meat maybe once a month and every other day it was just beans and vegetables. I put two and two together and realized that that money could have gone toward some meat or something," said Matt Qualls, who received these checks for mowing the sheriff's lawn and the lawns of his family. But that's not all. A corrupt sheriff in Morgan County, Anna Franklin, was caught using her inmate food fund to bankroll a used car lot which has since gone bankrupt to the tune of $150,000. When the top cops across an entire state are enriching themselves at the expense of the ones they claim to be rehabilitating, something has gone very wrong. This is not a few bad apples. This is a widespread problem of theft with the side effect of inhumane treatment of inmates, and the sheriffs have no problem admitting to it. After all, as top cops, who will hold them accountable? Hopefully, as this lawsuit progresses and more people become aware of this practice, the taxpayers of Alabama will refuse to be extorted to fund used car lots and lawn mowers. Please share this article with your friends and family to show them how brazen theft is deemed acceptable by those sworn to uphold the law. Only by shining light into the darkness will this ever stop.
Hey Sheriff, we have a question about why your office, your intelligence division, is investigating private citizens for criminal investigation that happen to be activists that are overseeing your department. Why would you have your intelligence division investigate private citizens? We have done... Sir, we don't hate anyone. We love freedom and we love American people. And government is out of control. That's why you're seeing such a revolt nationwide. Why can't you just answer, why is Susan Edwards, your intelligence division, investigating private citizens? This should not happen.
Are you here to apply for a job?
Possibly I might be applying for a job, but that's irrelevant to my question. Why would you ask that question?
Well, enjoy the fair.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Excuse you?
Excuse me, sir.
So those of you that haven't
Wow.
been on a bike before, we're
Sheriff's
just
getting a little too pushy. You work for us, Sheriff. Just keep that in mind. At one time we respected you, but not with that type of attitude.
County. This is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Sheriff County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if some, if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a, let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, if I got, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. 47,000 of you so far right now. $1 a day. $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.